Chicago network affiliates WBBM, WLS, WGN9, and WFLD covered this story, which originally broke almost a month ago.
New at 4, CAIR Chicago, a Muslim civil rights group, is demanding that a state senator resign after promoting anti-Muslim and anti-Arab messages on social media. These are screenshots shared on CAIR's website showing a comment Illinois State Senator Sara Feigenholtz made on another user's X account. In the comment, she called someone a truth teller after he criticized Westerners who praise Islam and claimed that Muslims treat women like cattle.
In 20 years of this work, the statements shared by Senator Feigenholtz stand out as among the most extreme I have seen from a public official.
Senator Feigenholtz, who represents a big part of Chicago's North Side, apologized for the comments, saying she made a mistake and shared a message she does not believe in. The post is no longer on the site.
Then, 3 weeks later, the story is revived.
There are renewed calls for State Senator Sara Feigenholtz to resign. The Chicago office of the Council on American Islamic Relations first called for her resignation 2 weeks ago, following social media posts that they say showed hate towards Muslims. Now they say that they have heard of new comments from the state senator.
When I called the station, I asked them if they wanted Feigenholtz to resign. They told me no. The people at the press conference do. But why, I asked, are they revisiting this story that was originally covered in October of this year? And they told me new people were coming forward to complain about Feigenholtz. Unfortunately, except for Fuzia Jared, no other new groups or people are shown. In a WFLD broadcast entitled "A Danger to the People of Illinois Calls Mount for Lawmaker to Step Down," Miss Jared tells us about a conversation she supposedly had with Feigenholtz.
One part of the conversation which remains with me is when she said, "Before we know it, Muslims and people from over there will be here on the streets shooting people." She followed up by, we already have Saturdays and Sundays off. What then, Fridays too? I was stunned by these comments.
Fuzia Jared's accusations are completely unsubstantiated, and no explanation is given as to why we should listen to her. And the things that she is accusing Feigenholtz of supposedly having said, in some cases, have already happened.
And people from over there will be here on the streets shooting people.
The attack appears timed for maximum impact.
He wanted death to all Americans. Police say this man was screaming, called himself Allah, and said we are all going to suffer from his wrath.
For 46 minutes, we sat in stunned silence, watching video filmed by Hamas and filmed by their victims.
Tonight, a New Jersey man is facing federal terrorism charges for allegedly scouting several cities as targets, including Boston.
And here's a look at some of the targets the man allegedly looked at in Boston. They include Fenway Park, the Prudential Tower, and Faneuil Hall.
Murder to gain access to ISIS, assault with a dangerous weapon to gain entrance to ISIS, attempted murder to gain entrance to ISIS. There were 8 people who were killed that day on the bike path on West Street in Lower Manhattan. It was the first deadly terror attack on U.S. soil since 9/11.
6 family members under arrest, accused of attacking and trying to kidnap their own relative, a woman who is 20 weeks pregnant.
Police say one of her own brothers punched her repeatedly in the stomach, and those same relatives have been threatening the couple and harassing them for months in the West Valley to Yuma.
Police say these 6 people tried to kidnap their 20-year-old pregnant relative. According to court documents, these family members, including the victim's parents and 4 brothers, did not approve of her boyfriend, who wasn't Muslim. That woman telling police that her relatives believe she brought dishonor to the family. The victim and her boyfriend filed more than 20 police reports. Court documents say one of the first incidents happened back in March when her family members tried to break into her boyfriend's family's home in Peoria. The victim and her boyfriend fled to Yuma, but police say her brothers later admitted to putting a tracker on her phone. They showed up at a hotel in Yuma where the victim once again called police for help. Court documents detail other threats later in the year, including when the victim's brother called her boyfriend, threatening to kidnap his 15-year-old sister if he didn't return the victim to them. Adding that, quote, "I'm not scared of your American laws." The latest incident just last week in Avondale. Police say one of the brothers punched the 20-week-old pregnant woman in the stomach multiple times. When police got there, they say the woman was crying and yelling for help. Told detectives she was afraid of dying in a so-called honor killing, like Noor al-Maleki, who you see here. The 20-year-old was murdered in Peoria in 2009. Her father was convicted of running her over because she had become too westernized.
Many schools, cities, and counties have recognized Muslim holidays. Are we supposed to believe Fuzia Jared is opposed to this?
I was stunned by these comments.
The station's bias against Feigenholtz is quantifiable. WFLD's broadcast gave almost 23 seconds to Feigenholtz, but more than a minute and a half to CAIR's aspersions against her. WLS gave almost 29 seconds to CAIR's aspersions against Feigenholtz, but only 11 seconds of a response from a state senator. There is no discussion of CAIR's National Executive Director saying October 7th made him happy.
Advocacy groups, the Anti-Defamation League, and the White House are all condemning comments made by CAIR Executive Director Nihat Awad. He said in part,
"Yes, I was happy to see people breaking the siege and throwing down the shackles of their own land and walk free into their lands that they were not allowed to walk in."
If Feigenholtz deserves criticism and calls for her resignation for what she said, then Nihat Awad should also be criticized. All of what Jared is claiming about Feigenholtz is unverifiable, and for the station to broadcast this with a title about a danger to the people of Illinois is outrageous. According to Ballotpedia, Sara Feigenholtz received over 68,000 votes in her election campaign, or 83% of the vote. How many votes has the Council on American Islamic Relations received? The answer is none. They are a self-appointed little group of people numbering about 3,000 that with the help of the media goes around interfering in people's lives. The danger is coming from the TV stations and the Council on American Islamic Relations.
I was stunned by these comments.